Hello everyone, good morning. And today is day 2 learning and expertising in the PowerShell program. So today we are moving from PowerShell introduction into the hands-on console uses, how we need to use the console. So what are the different type of consoles we have and all we'll discuss in today's session. And this is where exactly the real interaction with the PowerShell. So as I said earlier, every automation journey begins with PowerShell and like opening the console and running the commands, understanding the navigation and learning how to work efficiently using PowerShell consoles. Okay, so our today's focus is building the confidence inside the PowerShell environment. Okay, so without wasting any time, so we'll go to the topic. So today's topic is PowerShell console. So as I told you earlier, it's a command line interface which is used to interact with the PowerShell, right? And it allows users to run the commands, scripts and any kind of automation tasks. Okay, you can test your scripts and you can automate everything from PowerShell itself. Okay, think of it as a workspace for an automation engineer. Like for example, a Java developer, he may use Eclipse IDE and NetBeans IDE, different kind of IDEs. As a DBA, we are using SSMS as a IDE, right? So here to learn the PowerShell, PowerShell console is a one of the integrated environment. Okay, so we have to be very comfortable. Okay, so this PowerShell console which allows you to run the commands and scripts and automation your task and test your script, but be cautious while running the PowerShell scripts. Okay, first test it in your lower environment and then take it forward. Okay, okay, so here in PowerShell we have two main tools. One is PowerShell console and another one is PowerShell ISE. Okay, so the PowerShell console is look like a command prompt window, like the legacy command prompt window. It is different. Okay, it's similar to command prompt but it is different. And coming to the PowerShell ISE, this is an integrated scripting environment. I will show you how we can able to access the console and ISE. Many people they use a command prompt for smaller tasks, and whoever wanted to test the largest script and debugging purposes, then they'll go for PowerShell ISE. Okay, so now we'll navigate the PowerShell console and display a command prompt where users type the commands and shows the current working directory and the navigation keyboard based. And we don't need any mouse to operate this PowerShell console. It is similar like the Linux environment, how we use command line interface, right? The same way here also we can play it. And as I said earlier, PowerShell, the latest PowerShell version also supports cross OS platforms as well, like Mac or Linux. Okay, if you want to start PowerShell in Mac or Linux, you need to use pwsh command, whereas in Windows I will show you how to launch the PowerShell console and we'll go through the PowerShell console navigation. Okay, so once you enter into the system, you can search here just simple PowerShell. Here you can see this Windows PowerShell and Windows PowerShell ISE, right? So Windows PowerShell, this one is similar to like a command prompt, which is a normal legacy command prompt, right? So it is very similar to that, but this is a PowerShell. The regular command prompt is different and this PowerShell command prompt is different. This is one of the PowerShell console, okay, where you can play automation, everything. Okay, and as I said earlier, we have another one is PowerShell ISE, integrated scripting environment. This is also a platform IDE where you can automate and you can test and you can debug the things. We have two tools in PowerShell. One is PowerShell console and another one is PowerShell ISE. Both are in the same functionality, no changes. The only difference here is you can run a simple single line commands in a PowerShell console, whereas in ISE you can run multiple lines of code in one go. Okay, and you can also test and debug, whereas in PowerShell console you can't able to perform the debug, but in ISE this is possible. Okay, And many professional nowadays many automation engineers and professionals preferring the VS Code, Visual Studio Code. It is not Visual Studio, this is a VS Code editor. Okay, so it's a modern and supports many extensions, many applications extensions it supports. So but still we can use this ISE, and we can use this console to play and learn the PowerShell. Okay, when you open a PowerShell, you can see the command prompt and the current working directory, right? So this is current working directory. Okay, or else usually in Linux we use PWD, present working directory, right? Here we can add as current working directory. So here you can see the cursor will be blinking, and cursor will be placed on the console. So here you can play with the keyboard without any mouse as well. But whereas if you want to switch back to the previous lines, then previous execution command, then we can use the navigation buttons as well. Okay, and as an automation engineer, keyboard efficiency becomes very important. Okay, so once we open this PowerShell, for example, if you want to get the location, okay, so go to get location, you can try, then you will get the current path, which is nothing but current working directory. Okay, get location is nothing but from where you are executing, in which path you are executing the commands. Get location to get the current working directory information. Okay, this is where currently we are in which folder currently we are in, it is showcasing. Okay, and coming to this ISE is a integrated scripting environments, and it is providing the code editor and also syntax highlighting. For example, get location. Okay, so get location, if you can see, this is highlighted with blue colors. For example, if I type with PS version, here you can see this is a variable. So variable and the command is differentiating with the colors. Okay, so here the syntaxes or commands or variables, it is highlighting with different colors. Okay, and this is the script pane, and you can use the debugging tools as well. You can use all these things, and this will help you to if there is any errors are easier to identify. For example, I have typed PS version table, or for example I didn't pass anything, see this one. Okay, but quotation or something, if you wrongly type anything, automatically this ISE environment, if there is any errors, you can easily identify. But whereas in console, you can't able to identify the exact errors. Okay, so if you can see, you can't identify whether error is there or not, you can't identify. Okay, so likewise this ISE environment is more comfortable than the normal console. Okay, so and this ISE is we can easier to manage our scripts as well. The important clarification about this ISE is still it is working on Windows, and also supporting in VS Code editor as well. Okay, and if you can see the script pane and the console pane, and this is also console pane, you can access both script pane and console pane from here itself. Okay, and here you can see the run button to execute the command, whereas if you want to run only single line command, okay, for example I have two lines, right? Okay, I have two lines of code. For example, if you want to run both commands, you can simply click on run this script, you will get the information. Or else if you want to get the current version table, if you want to execute only this particular command, then you can use this run selection F8. So you will get, it will be getting executed only this particular information only. Okay, this is how we can execute. Okay, and the differences between the console and ISE and the VS Code is, so a PowerShell console is for quick commands, very shorter commands like get commands, TNC, testnet connection. For shorter commands and for quicker commands, PowerShell console is very fast. It's not, I'm not saying it's fast, but this is very quick commands, then we'll use this PowerShell console. And troubleshooting is also little bit good. And for server administrations, for example, if you want to start the services, stop the services, creating the users, If it is a small queries or restarting the server, if you want to apply some GPOs, then PowerShell console is the good option. And whereas when it comes to the ISE, so if you want to learning purpose, if you are a beginner, then ISE will be giving a more options to learn and practice, because here it is highlighting the errors if you are getting, and you can easily debug the things, and you can test your scripts very easily with ISE. Okay, when it comes to the Visual Studio Code Editor, okay, VS Code Editor, that's mainly for nowadays many professionals are using the VS Code Editor, and for any large automation projects, then it is good to use. And mainly for smaller scripts also we can use, but very large infra level or any kind of major automation related part, then we can go with VS Code. And because VS Code is supporting many extensions like Git integration, ChatGPT, Claude, or it supports many integrations as well. And this VS Code is the most modern DevOps and cloud engineers. Okay, and then many these engineers are DBAs, DevOps engineers, cloud engineers, they are using VS Code editors. Okay, and if you now we are comfortable with the console. If you want to start with basic commands, the by default, whenever you launch this PowerShell window, then you can see the what I can say, you can split the screen as well. You can play with this top and bottom, left and right. If you want to use a single screen, that is also possible. So you can play however you want. Okay, and here you can add show commands add-on, and also we have another options is also there. For example, show commands add-on is giving like what commands, what modules we are having, so everything we can able to see it here itself. Okay, and the zoom in, zoom out in PowerShell normal console, you don't have these options, but here through IDE we can easily to identify. You can open the folders and you can cut it, copy and paste, and you can clear the console as well. So compared to regular console, PowerShell ISE is giving more options for learners to start their automation journey, which is very user friendly environment. Okay, and if we can say very simple example about the commands, we have already seen, right? So for example, I wanted to let me clear the session. You can use CLS as well. Okay, so I can use either environment or console, both in ISE. For example, if I wanted to get the child items in the particular folder, if you can see here, automatically all the commands will be automatically populated. Now I wanted to see only get child item. Okay, so GCI. Okay, which means if there is any files under the present working directory, it will list out all the files. Okay, get child item. Okay, which is very equivalent to the dir in command prompt, or you can also type as ls. Okay, listing files, both are same. dir is also same. dir or dir or ls or get child item or GCI is also the same information. Okay, these are the alias names. We will take it forward, no issues. Okay, so it is behaving the same information. This is very common command, very frequently using ls, GCI, get child item. These are came under the same command. These are the aliases as well. Okay, and if you want to set the location, for example, I wanted to change the directory. Okay, get location first. First we have we'll get the location information. Okay, so once sorry, let me clear get location. Okay, now you will get the path. Now you wanted to change your location from C drive to D drive or F drive. Okay, so what you need to do is set location. Okay, and here you need to path. Okay, so here you can pass the folder path details, and you can see, so earlier your you are in C users SQL admin path. Now the path has been changed, the location has been changed to fmongo. So now you can see get child item, then whatever the files under the mongo folder you will get it here. Okay, rs els rs dar both are behaving all the same, but when it comes to the PowerShell, the command, actual command to get the list of files in the current working directory or present working directory, you can use Get-ChildItem, gci ls or dir. Okay, this is how we can use this commands as well. Okay, and we can use the clear host. If I wanted to clear the screen, you can use clear, or you can use clear host, clear host, or else you can use cls. So there are many options to clear your screen to understand better. Okay, and you can, there are many other commands as well. As we are practicing, as we are moving forwards to the next session, we'll discuss many modules and many commands we will learn in this PowerShell journey. Okay, and we have to understand the each and every command. Okay, so why are we using this command, which command is really helpful? If you are doubt, then always try to use get help command. It will give you a lot of information with examples. So it is good to go with always get help command, which will really help us to learn more. Okay, navigation is very important, and setting the path and is very important, where you are running the script. Okay, so how you are fetching the data, this is very important. So simple understanding, get is nothing but you are getting the information for the specific noun objective, right? So set is nothing but you are setting a variable, or you are setting a location, you are setting something to that particular noun, that is a different. If you understand the verb, the action that you are doing, the PowerShell is very easy in any module. Okay, understanding the verb is very important. Okay, and as I said, if you wanted to learn the PowerShell, if you are having any doubts which command I need to use, I always suggest go with get help command. This is the most important learning command in PowerShell. Okay, you no need to memorize every command, because PowerShell is offering multiple modules, multiple commands in multiple functions as well. You no need to memorize every command. Instead of learning how to use help effectively, just understand that part. For example, so if you don't know about how to use Get-ChildItem, okay, then what you can do is get help. Okay, and what is the command that you don't know? Okay, Get-ChildItem. Okay, so you are asking the help how Get-ChildItem works. Okay, what is the information documentation about Get-ChildItem? Just simply enter. It will give the complete description. It is gets the items in one or more specified location. The item is a container, it gets the item inside the container. So as I said, it will get the list of files from the specific location. Okay, this is how we'll get the information. These are the additional parameters, and how we can use, what we can pass the additional parameters, everything it is giving the simple information. Okay, for example, if you don't know how to use this command very effectively, if you want any additional examples, then simply type get examples. Okay, it will also give the example scripts as well, how to use this. It will give a clear information. Okay, that's why when you starting the PowerShell, I always suggest, if you don't know about any particular command, use get-help space and the command which you don't know, and then hit enter. It will give you the information. Still, if you are not comfortable how to write a syntax that particular command, use get help, get child, and that particular command example, then it will give you clear examples with clear details. Okay, the example parameter is extremely useful because it shows the real usage scenario. Okay, professional engineers constantly use the documentation, because documentation is very important, right? So if you know the documentation how this command is working, then obviously it is very easy to learn. Many professionals, because no one remember every command, right? So if they are having any doubt, they'll depend on this part only. But many professional engineers use the documentation effectively. Okay, and shortcuts, efficiency matters in automation. These shortcuts save enormous times daily. And when you use tab, for example, previously I have used get, right? Get, I just typed get-ch, so I don't want to type the entire command, just hit enter tab, then automatically the command will be auto populated. Okay, so this auto completes commands the complete file. Okay, not only for the commands, for example, now you are switching F drive, then you just enter, automatically you can see the list of files, right? So it is easy to get the information. Okay, tab is to auto populate or auto complete the particular command or particular line. Okay, and up and down arrows, this up and down arrows will really help you to run the previous line or the one which you executed earlier. You can easily everything. And we have few more commands as well. Control C, and which is basically if you are running anything, if you want to stop any command, then you can use Control C to stop the thing. And if there is any long running scripts or any accidental loops, if any script is continuously looping, if you want to stop particular script, then you can use Control C to stop the execution. And Control A, these are the very small commands. Control A is to select all the context, all the text, and you can use home or end button, move quickly across the command line from the starting to the ending point. This also you can use. So why these shortcuts are important? Control C, because we don't know how much time the scripts will take, right? So in this case, the shortcuts will save you a lot of time. Instead of typing the entire command, you can use tab to auto complete, Control A to select the text, and home and end buttons, up and down arrow buttons. This will really helpful, and this saves a lot of time. And also this small efficiencies create huge productivity improvement over the time. When you are practicing very efficiently, very effectively, then it will save you a lot of time, and you don't need to type the complete command. So the main benefit of this one is less typing, and mistakes will be very fewer, because it is auto completing the command, right? And fewer mistakes and faster troubleshooting. And for the better workflow, we need to use the shortcuts. Okay, engineers, it may be any engineers may execute hundreds of commands daily without knowing them in the back end they are running. But many engineers running the many PowerShell commands, but every engineer don't remember all the commands which is provided by the PowerShell. But if you don't know the command, just always use get help command. Okay, the console basics are used everywhere. Okay, and checking the logs and navigating the project folders, automations, file handling, and script execution. And usually every cloud engineer or every database administrator or every server engineer, these they'll use very frequently on a daily basis. Okay, if you want to become very professional automation engineer, practice is more important. Just go with a single command or one or two commands daily, practice it and learn it. Go through the documentation, how we can give the additional parameter, just explore it. Okay, with the help of get help, you can learn a lot. Okay, and I always suggest use test folders while you are learning. Okay, because don't work on the production environment. Just test in your local system, and then once everything looks good, then take it forward. Okay, never blindly execute the scripts from the internet. Okay, if you don't know, if you didn't understand the logic, or if you didn't understand the concept, don't run the script blindly which is available from the internet. And if you are getting any errors, don't be panic. Errors are part of learning automations. Okay, so don't panic. And sometimes we will get the errors as well. Maybe, as I said, right, when I type get list something I typed wrongly, then it will show it's not an error exactly. Okay, you did something wrong. Okay, so that's why it is throwing an error. Okay, but don't panic, just understand the errors information is also very much clear. What is the error message, why it is trying, just understand the errors are part of learning automation. Okay, every expert once confused by the console. Every expert at least once a time he'll be confusing somewhere else, but no worries, no panic. Depends on your usage, you can go with the PowerShell console or ISE, depends on your things. Okay, and this is about the PowerShell console part. Okay, so today in this session what we learn that PowerShell console basics and the navigations and the difference between console, ISE and VS code editor, and the keyboard shortcuts, and how we can effectively use the get help command, and we have seen the real world usage as well. Okay, these are the basics and critical before moving into the scripting and automation part. Okay, and so hope you are comfortable with PowerShell console, and even this video is watched by other already whoever is more comfortable with PowerShell, but I started this PowerShell and the one who wants to start from the scratch. Okay, so whoever is already into the PowerShell, they may get bored, but my intention is to start whoever not comfortable with the PowerShell. This series will really help you a lot. Okay, promise me, be with me for the next 30 days. Definitely I will give you my best from my side. You will be very professional in the automation scripting part, understanding the part, everything. Okay, and coming to this PowerPoint presentation I have prepared, I want to explain some. You may feel that I am going through the PowerShell console slide and explaining this stuff and additional things, but it's not like a reading and this part. I have just prepared the documentation. I will share these docs as well, and what I can say here is, so I'll share the documentation. Before sharing the documentation, repeat the video second time and prepare your own notes. Okay, and from the next time onwards I will share both the presentation as well as video as well, but go through it. Okay, write in notes, practice 1 or 2 commands daily. Always use get help command if you don't know, because and main thing is, if you are getting any errors, don't panic and don't blindly execute any script which is available from the internet. Okay, until and unless if you are comfortable and if you understand the script execution workflow, then only run, and that is also first test in your local environment and then take it further. Okay, so we discussed about the PowerShell console and what PowerShell ISE is, and the differences, comparison between the console, ISE and VS code as well, and the basic commands we discussed: Get-ChildItem, set location, and get location, clear host. Okay, and we have seen why and the understanding of the Get-ChildItem, right, and the examples as well. And we also discussed about the set location and get help command, and the keyboard shortcuts. The tab is for auto completion, up and down arrows, Control C and Control A, home and buttons. As I said, these shortcuts will save a lot of time and reduces the amount of typing, and it helps preventing the mistakes and improves learning speed and accuracy. And these shortcuts will really help you to checking the system's logs, navigating the project folders, switching from one folder to another folder, and you can automate the daily task, managing user files. Okay, so many cloud engineers always use shortcuts only. Okay, and the best practices for beginners, as I said, practice commands daily. Okay, practice commands daily, and depends on your requirements, search for the command and ask for help using get help, and experiment safely in your test folders. Understand the commands and don't be afraid of errors. Okay, so this is what about PowerShell console. In the next session we'll come up with a beautiful session. Okay, until then, bye, thank you.